welcome to the second installment of The Empire Strikes Back. I'm your host, Mr. Gallen. I'm ready. Sunday's ready. I don't know where Buddy is, but we're just going to get to it. On Hoth, the rebel forces hurried to evacuate the ice world. It was decided that a small fleet of pilots would lag behind in their snowspeeders to make sure the rest of the rebels got away safely. But no sooner had the evacuation begun than a signal came over the computer scan in the control room. The Imperial fleet had just arrived out of hyperspace. "Prepare for ground assault," General Riken ordered the rebels. Luke joined the other rebel pilots as they climbed into their snowspeeders and ready to attack the invading Imperial soldiers. Just then, a frantic voice came over Luke's comlink. "Echo Station 3T8, came the voice. It was one of the rebel officers stationed outside in the snow trenches. "We have spotted Imperial walkers." "Echo Station 5-7, replied Luke. "We're on the way." And with that, he and the other pilots blasted off in their speeders. In a short while, they reached the snow trenches. Through his viewport, Luke could see the rebel ground team was being attacked by 3 huge robots. The robots, each as tall as a building, lumbered through the snowy slopes on powerful mechanical legs. They were blasting the rebels with their laser cannons as they went. Luke watched as one of the other rebel snowspeeders raced directly ahead of him. It swooped between the legs of one of the walkers. The walker's head swiveled, catching the craft in its sights. Then it fired a laser blast at the snowspeeder, sending the speeder crashing in a ball of flames. Luke knew that the walkers were going to be tough to beat. He swerved his ship toward one of them and blasted it straight on, but his laser bolts couldn't even dent the walker's armor. "That armor's too strong for blasters," Luke called to the other pilots. "Use your harpoons and tow cables. Go for the legs. It might be our only chance of stopping them." Luke ordered one of the rebel speeders to set its harpoon. The speeder moved in on one of the walkers and fired its harpoon and cable into one of the legs of the walker. Then the speeder began to circle around the feet of the walker, its cable trailing behind. Once, twice, 3 times, the speeder wound its cable around the legs of the giant walking robot. Then the speeder detached the cable and zoomed away. Luke and the other pilots watched as the enormous legs of the walker attempted another step. No sooner had it done so than it began to lose its balance and teeter. It toppled and crashed into the icy ground. A second later, it exploded. "Good work," Luke told the other pilots. Luke teamed up with another snow speeder and headed toward more of the giant walkers. Then, without warning, his speeder was hit with a laser blast. "I've been hit," he yelled in his comlink. He struggled with his controls, but it was no use. His ship went down, hitting the icy ground hard. Smoke and fire exploded inside the cockpit of Luke's speeder. Dazed, Luke looked up just in time to see one of the giant walkers pounding toward him. He quickly unstrapped himself and pressed a button. The cockpit hatch sprung open. Luke leaped out of the snowspeeder seconds before the walker's giant feet crushed the speeder flat. As the walker passed by, Luke fired a harpoon into its underside. Then he pulled himself up into the walker on a cable attached to the harpoon. He planted a bomb inside the walker and fled, leaving the bomb to destroy the giant robot. Finally, Luke returned to the rebel base where pilots were boarding their X-Wing fighters and taking off into space. R2 had already prepared Luke's fighter. "R2, get her ready to take off," said Luke as he climbed inside his ship. Normally, he would have rejoined the other X-Wing fighters, but the strange message from Ben Kenobi was still in his thoughts. He reset the ship's controls. R2 responded with a series of worried beeps. "There's nothing wrong, R2, said Luke. "Just setting a new course. We're going to the Dagobah system." And with that, he double-checked his readouts and took off. And now it's time... Wait, what's this? It seems like I'm having trouble with the signal.
Where am I?
Jabba's palace.
Before you tell me who you are, can you tell me why Anakin Skywalker crossed the road?
I don't know.
To get to the dark side. So, do you know why doctors make the best Jedis? No, I'm not sure. Because they need to have a lot of patience. Do you know what you call Chewbacca when he has chocolate stuck in his fur? I'm not sticking around for the answer to that joke. A chocolate chip Wookie. Get it? A chocolate chip Wookie.
Echo 5G to GNMES read aloud. Do you copy? Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Oh, there you are. I don't know where you guys went. I'm not really sure what happened there. Alright, so where were we? Inside the rebel base, Han Solo and Princess Leia raced toward the Millennium Falcon. Imperial troops, led by Darth Vader, had penetrated the base and were capturing any rebels they could find. Han had Leia up the ramp and into the cockpit of the Falcon. C-3PO hurried behind. Inside, Chewbacca was already preparing for liftoff, but one of the controls was giving him trouble. "This bucket of bolts is never going to get us past that blockade," said the princess worriedly. "This baby's got a few surprises left in her, sweetheart," replied Han as he strapped himself into the pilot seat and flipped some switches. The engine roared to life. "See? Someday you're going to be wrong, and I just hope I'm there to see it," taunted Leia. Seconds later, just as some stormtroopers entered the docking bay, the Falcon lifted off and escaped through the main hangar door. But no sooner had they reached orbit when they were confronted by two Imperial Star Destroyers. "Check the deflector shields," Han ordered Chewbacca. Chewbacca replied with a roar that the deflector shields were down. Han had no choice. He would have to try to outmaneuver the two immense battleships. Han piloted the Falcon straight down between the two Star Destroyers. The Imperial ships veered toward the Falcon. Then, Han instantly swerved off, leaving the two great crafts nearly to collide into one another. "Prepare to make the jump to light speed," ordered Han. Chewbacca entered the coordinates into the computer. "They're getting closer," Princess Leia exclaimed. Two more Star Destroyers were on their tail. "Oh yeah? Watch this," replied Han, a gleam in his eye. And with that, he flipped a switch on the controls and waited for the ship to jump into hyperspace. Only nothing happened. "Watch what?" asked Leia, rolling her eyes in disbelief. So far, nothing Han had tried worked. Han groaned. "I think we're in trouble," he said. Even he was worried now. The Imperial ships were gaining fast. Just then, he felt the ship jolt. Something had hit them from the outside. Looking through the viewport, they saw a field of asteroids. There were hundreds of them, large and small. Thinking quickly, Han reset the controls, but instead of flying away from the asteroid belt, he steered the Falcon straight toward it. "What are you doing?" asked Leia, astonished. "You're not actually going to fly into an asteroid field." "Well, they'd be crazy to follow us, wouldn't they?" replied Han. Han used all his skill as he piloted the Falcon around the oncoming asteroids. Behind them, 3 TIE fighters followed in hot pursuit. One of them scraped an asteroid and went hurtling out of control. "We're going to get pulverized if we stay in here much longer," warned Princess Leia. "I'm going closer to one of those big ones," said Han. "Closer?" Leia asked with surprise. "Closer?" C-3PO repeated, terrified. An asteroid about the size of a small moon loomed straight ahead. Han steered the Falcon toward it and began to skim along its surface. Before long, he spotted a giant crater and lowered the Falcon into it. Once they were inside the crater, Han landed the ship and shut off all its power. For the time being, Han hoped, they would be safely hidden from the Imperial fleet. Darth Vader sat alone in a private chamber aboard his Star Destroyer and waited. He had received word that the Emperor was trying to reach him. After a few short moments, the Emperor, his cloak and hood barely hiding a horrible, ugly face, appeared to Vader. Vader sank to his knees. "What is thy bidding, my master?" Vader asked. "There is a great disturbance in the Force," said the Emperor. "We have a new enemy, Luke Skywalker. The son of Skywalker must not become a Jedi. He could destroy us." If he could be turned, he would become a very powerful ally, suggested Vader. Yes, the Emperor smiled. He liked the idea. Can it be done? He will join us or die, Master, promised Vader. Far across the galaxy, Luke Skywalker had to force a landing on a cloud-covered planet of Dagobah. The atmosphere of Dagobah was so dense that Luke could not get clear readings on his X-Wing's control panels. The landing was rough, leaving the starfighter half submerged in a swamp. When Luke emerged from the ship, he saw that Dagobah was a planet shrouded in dense fog. There seemed to be nothing but twisted trees and marsh for kilometers around. Now all I've got to do is find this Yoda, if he even exists, Luke muttered as he and R2 made their way across the swampland. It's really a strange place to find a Jedi Master. This place gives me the creeps. Still, there's something familiar about this place. I feel like... Feel like what? Came a strange voice from within the fog. Luke spun around, grabbing for his blaster as he turned. Standing right in front of him was a strange green-colored creature, not more than a meter tall. Like we're being watched, Luke said to the creature. For a moment, Luke felt silly as he brandished his laser pistol. Dressed in nothing but rags, the creature didn't look threatening at all. Away, put your weapon, demanded the small creature. I mean you no harm. Luke cautiously put away his blaster. I am wondering, asked the creature, why are you here? I'm looking for someone, replied Luke. I'm looking for a great warrior. The small creature laughed and shook his head. Wars not make one great, he said. Then, with the aid of his little walking stick, the creature began poking at a case of supplies that Luke had brought along. Something seemed to interest him, a tiny power lamp. Hey, give me that, demanded Luke, reaching for the lamp. Mine, insisted the creature, pulling the lamp close to his chest, or I will help you not. I don't want your help, said Luke. After several attempts, Luke saw that it was useless to try to get his lamp back. He urged the little creature to go. Stay and help you, I will, insisted the creature as he eyed his new prize. Find your friend. I'm not looking for a friend, explained Luke. I'm looking for a Jedi Master. Oh, Jedi Master, said the creature with a nod. Yoda. You seek Yoda. You know him? Luke asked. Take you to him, I will, said the creature. But now we must eat. And with that, the little creature led Luke and R2 to his home, a strange mud hut that sat on the edge of a small lagoon. There, the creature prepared an exotic dinner. I just don't understand why we can't see Yoda now, griped Luke. How far away is Yoda? Will it take us long to get there? The little creature sighed and threw up his hands. I cannot teach him, he said aloud. The boy has no patience. He will learn patience, replied the voice of Ben Kenobi from out of nowhere. Was I any different when you taught me? Luke spun around, confused. Ben was nowhere to be seen. Suddenly, it dawned on Luke that the little creature was none other than Yoda, the Jedi Master himself. He is not ready, Yoda said to Ben. Yoda, I am ready, insisted Luke. I've learned so much. Yoda sighed. Will he finish what he begins? He asked Ben. I won't fail you, Luke promised Yoda. I'm not afraid. Yoda slowly turned toward Luke. Yeah? You will be, he warned the eager boy. You will be. And so the little creature agreed to begin Luke's Jedi training. And that brings us to the end of the second installment. I hope that you are all enjoying the story. I'm having a great time telling it to you guys. And you know what? I'll see you next time. You didn't think I was done, did you?